Hello, everyone. Once again, Scott and I are here to address one of the many issues that Amazon seller will face when selling on Amazon. It has to do with account health and account maintenance. So, Scott, what do we have today for our viewers?
We're going to talk about three mistakes that sellers make when they're responding to Amazon with their POA. And then I'm going to include three bonuses in addition to that.
I love bonuses, but first let's take make sure I'm not making those three top mistakes. And when we draft the plan of action or POA, and as we can see right here, I never get used to the kind of what the direction is. Plan of action. Scott has a book by that name, and as well as the account health training, a full video course. And so for those who are interested, and because it's just part of what we do selling on Amazon, things will happen. We need to have a plan for it. And Amazon actually will come down and ask us to draft a plan to answer to one of those kind of issues that you encounter. Okay, so what are those three mistakes that every Amazon seller should be aware of?
The first thing I see that happens is instead of submitting a plan or somehow appropriately responding to what you're seeing on the account health dashboard, a lot of sellers will have a tendency to either pick up the phone and try to get a hold of seller support or try to get a hold of account health
Mm.
before ever submitting anything. And I think that's a big mistake. You're trying to get information from Amazon before you do the work to get the information on your own. And it's that leads into step two is that you or point two is that you jump to conclusions about what the problem is without thoroughly researching what caused Amazon to reach out to you. And that leads people to either call Amazon because they don't know what the problem is, so they're expecting Amazon to help them, or they're putting together a draft that's incomplete, that's not going to adequately answer Amazon's question because you haven't been thorough enough in your response. And it's really tempting because of the way that the interface has changed on the account health dashboard when they're really attempting to make things easier in a lot of ways and giving you check boxes and allowing you to click through, and then maybe they have a little teeny tiny text box, and it's tempting to just put in a sentence or two in there, when in a lot of cases, I think Amazon's really asking for a full, complete plan of action, and it's unclear that that's what they're asking for.
So I think going back a few years back when my account got suspended for the first time. So far, good thing that it's the only time it happened. Um, Naturally, if people are new to selling on Amazon, they would think Amazon at least communicate the issue in a way that seller understand what that is, why
Nope,
it's causing it,
it
right?
doesn't happen.
So let's say there's a okay, so and so we got to receive a report that the item is not authentic, and want you to draft up a plan of action, a POA, and this is the ASIN that people complain about. Then show us something that we can remove we remove it from your account. So naturally, the seller will be thinking, okay, somebody complained it is, but I have a legit I put source from Nike.com. It's a very legit source, and I have the receipt, and then I'm I mean, I just prove it, and then that should be okay, right? I mean, it seems like it's pretty straightforward in that specific case, but you might be referring to sometimes it's not very clear in the sense.
It's rarely clear. They don't make themselves clear. You know,
Mm.
they might make things easier in that now they're giving you check boxes and that sort of thing, and it looks like it's really easy to respond because they give you these teeny tiny text box. And in some cases, it might be appropriate to put in a sentence or two or just a paragraph. But as soon as that gets rejected, you want to be point number three, very thorough and comprehensive in your plan of action. It really needs to include the things that Amazon's asking for, the root cause, which again, back to point number two, you've got to do your preliminary research. You've got to draw the right conclusions as to what's the real reason Amazon's contacting you about this issue. What policy do they think that you've violated? What do they think is wrong with your ASIN, that kind of thing? And that needs to be lined out in that very thorough plan of action that also has what you've done to fix the problem and what you're doing to prevent it from happening again. And again, real easy to think that that's not necessary, or that it's not required, or that that's not what Amazon's looking for, because they don't make it look like that's the format that they want at this point. They make it look like you can just respond very briefly.
Okay. So giving those three mistakes people often make, help us with a brief example. It doesn't have to be an actual case, but if there is one, that would be great. So in terms, let's say there's a inauthenticity complaint reported by a customer or by whoever. And I understand, I see there's an ASIN involved, this specific pair of shoes, for example. And before I call support or call the account health hotline or submit a POA, what is the walk us through, like what kind of things I should be doing, like in terms of investigating, um, that will help me to draft the POA. I mean, what are some of the things involved?
The first thing that I would normally want to ask when you receive, let's say, an inauthentic complaint is, why did I receive this?
Mm,
What would cause somebody to say that it was inauthentic? Why would they think it was inauthentic? Have you ever actually held this product in your hand
mm,
to be able to look at it and feel it and see what is my experience like with this product? Have you compared this product to other products that are exactly like it that might have been sourced elsewhere?
mm,
There's got to be some reason why somebody said that. Usually with inauthentic complaints in particular, that's driven by a buyer complaint.
mm,
So chances are pretty good that the buyer was unhappy, dissatisfied, something about the product didn't meet their expectations. The problem is that you need to know and keep in the back of your mind is that when you go to file a return as a consumer, as a buyer on Amazon, it gives you a list of radio buttons that you select from as your reason for a return. And let's say there are 5 different radio buttons. There might be more, there might be less. Let's say there are
oh,
5 of them. And the trouble is, if you were the consumer and you're clicking around on these various different buttons, you would find that some of the buttons provide the opportunity for you to be able to return the item with free return shipping, and some of the buttons cause you to have to pay for return shipping. And there's no setting that's on the seller side that lets you get in front of that and prevent it. So somebody might go in and just click the button inauthentic because maybe they've heard somewhere on the internet or whatever, or maybe through experience that by clicking that button, that means you automatically get free return shipping. When there's
mm,
nothing wrong with the product whatsoever, there's some reason they didn't like it, some reason they want to return it, whatever, but you as a seller get held responsible for that by Amazon because all they do is take that radio button that says inauthentic and say, oh, there must be something wrong with the product and it must be the seller's fault. So it's important for you to keep that in mind as a bit of information about what's possible as far as how that complaint could have shown up on your account, but don't automatically assume it. If you automatically assume it, you're making a mistake because that might short circuit your commitment to find out what the problem really is. It's kind of like if you tell me that there is a container of pickles in my refrigerator, or and I know for sure that it's there, then I'm going to find it. But If I'm just going to my refrigerator looking for pickles and I don't see it immediately, I'll say, oh, I don't have it. And it's kind of, you have a bigger commitment to know, to follow through and do thorough research if you know that there's a problem there that you can uncover. So I think it's completely inappropriate to assume that the reason why Amazon contacted you about an inauthentic complaint was that a buyer was trying to cheat the system and get free return shipping. Just keep that in mind if you don't find any other smoking guns after being very thorough about uncovering the root cause of the complaint.
Yeah, I think it's so valuable. We understand how Amazon work, and in order to prepare our responses. And actually, it just so happened most recently, I think last week, I had the incident of an inauthenticity complaint showing up on my dashboard. But if you do what I do every day, this will become easier. So the example is like this. Um, I received the complaint. Actually, I already know it's coming. And how did I do that? Because the one practice that ever since Scott helped me reinstate my account, I really stay on top of my account health. So I implement some of the practice. No, for example, I would check the voice of the customer every day. At that time, a few years back, it's not non-existent, but now it has, right? So I 3 days ago, before I received the inauthenticity complaint, I noticed a customer left a review, a comment on under through voice of the customer saying that, okay, this item actually has a clearance sticker at the bottom,
Oh
and
my.
then it's a beauty item. It has scratches all over the package. Yes, I purchased from a legit source and a clearance. I got 30 of them.
Oh, and
So
you
I
didn't
know,
check every single one?
no, I use a prep center. I didn't see
Oh,
them. So
the
here's what
worst.
happened. I noticed it, the comment, and then actually the customer said that, I'm not sure this is from the legit brand. So that's one. Okay, so I noticed it, and then immediately I went back to say, okay, how many inventory do I have left? When I see like you have a clearance sticker at the bottom, that means it missed the eyes in the at the prep center, right? So I
Is
know
that
I
something
have
they
no
normally
more
check?
than one.
Do they
Huh?
do they normally have a QC process to check that
They
kind of
do
thing?
that sticker, I mean, so small as it turned out. It's very easy to miss. And so that's the first voice of the customer. And then I immediately go back, like what you said, you investigate. I mean, what causing it? Would it be, the case that customer just want to return, just make up something, right? But when you go through the voice of the customer, that mean maybe it's pretty genuine. They want to report something, showing, I'm is not satisfied with it. So I
Mm.
look at it, and then I check the voice of the customer again the following day. It show up the same similar comment, and I dig into it. It's the same customer. Actually, he ordered back to back the same item, and they came the same way, and
Oh
he
my.
reported the same way. So I said, okay, sounds like a trouble is coming, right? So lo and behold, on the next day, I noticed the seller feedback review. I get a 1 star from this customer. So, and then I said, okay. And then I would have the Amazon to automatically, cross it out, saying Amazon, this is our, responsibility, whatever. So that took care of that. And I have sensed that the inauthenticity may be coming. Exactly the following day, I get this inauthenticity complaint. So I did, submit the invoice and all that, and now it got it cleared out. But it's just one incident. Of course, I feedback to my prep center, and then I present all the evidence that I like what you said. I did the investigation. I
Right.
document everything.
Right.
So I told it to them, and then the prep center said, this is our mistake, and then from now on we will be, implement the procedure to do, to check it. So long story short, it takes more than people newer seller think that we should get really good at this kind of a thing to protect your account, right? So I think today's topic, it's on point. Even me as an active seller up to right now, so I'm dealing with things like that on a daily basis. So you have a good practice process in place, and you do it in a systematic way. Then that's how you stay on top of your account health. And so 3 mistakes. I want to know what the 3 bonuses are now.
So one of the bonuses is really quite uh, parallels your experience with the this clearance sticker issue, and that is to not panic,
Mm,
to be patient and thorough and methodical and go through specific steps to check various places in your account to not panic by having a knee-jerk reaction or making incorrect assumptions. So that's it in a nutshell. To be patient and thorough, really with all kinds of things going on with your account. In your case, you knew from experience to check voice of the customer, to check seller feedback, to check your account health daily, to check your performance notifications. Those are things every seller should be doing on a daily basis. Um, it reminds me of a client one time who uh, started getting seller feedback is saying this isn't what I ordered at all. This is complete junk. This makes no sense. I paid, such and such $45 for this thing, and I got some kind of $4 item. And the client didn't know what was going on, but they looked into it and they realized that one of their employees had placed the wrong stickers on the wrong items. And so they immediately closed those listings so that no more would sell and recall the inventory so they could resticker it, and got hold of everybody who had already ordered it proactively to try to prevent deeper issues from the account beyond just the seller feedback problems. But that's a really good case in point for why you should check your seller feedback every day in addition to your account health dashboard.
So I think in that sense, the voice of the customer, it kind of really help the seller if you pay attention to it.
For sure.
That kind of telling you what is wrong, right? I mean, more specifically. So sometimes if I'm not so clear about the comment, I actually, if I have a chance, Amazon allows me to open up the channel, I will kind of ask the customer to send me a picture if they have not initiated the return. And on multiple occasions, I will be able to get the picture from the customer to prove to Amazon or prove to my prep center there's something it's missing that causing this. And actually, this week I have another incident, not from voice of the customer, but from eBay customer. So I sell a lot of shoes. So sometimes the item, not just shoes, but other beauty item. So it happened, it was unfulfillable. So I retrieve it and sell on eBay. So what happened is the service provider helped me to receive, inspect, create the eBay listing. Um, the funny thing is a client, the customer say, "Hey, I'm looking at this beauty item. You have 3 pictures, but it doesn't look like it shows a picture of the box, the packaging, and then it shows a picture of the item." The customer said, "The item shown does not match the packaging. Are you, is it the same thing?" I said, "Of course it's the same thing. They should take the picture together." But when he asked me, I said, "Oh, these are not stock photo, are actual images." But the customer replied to me saying that, "But I understand that, but are they the same item?" That forced me to go look at the eBay image myself. And I realized what happened is the multiple beauty item being taken picture at the same time. So the team actually put 2 different items into the same eBay listing.
Ooh,
So it's like, oh my goodness, thank you. So immediately I ended the listing so that actually, it didn't go to the customer, right? Because that would cause, it's not a very good experience for the customer. So I listened to the customer, just like we listen to people submit a voice of the uh, um, customer that give us the heads up, potentially might have a negative impact to our account and cost money. If they return it, you have to pay the return fees and all that, right? I mean, potentially the packaging will be damaged during the return process. I mean, you just lose money that way. So paying attention to the voice of the customer, stay on top of it, like we discussed today. Thanks to Scott for bring up stress again, the three mistake people make, and then the best way to do it is be patient and thorough, and is looking for help. If we people really wants to be thorough and you have a good knowledge of this, you don't have to go through suspension in order to get it, right? So Scott's book and then the video training courses actually will cover a lot of ground in terms of how you, as a seller, what are the things that you should be aware of even before it happens, right? So have a good knowledge of that. You kind of equip yourself in case it happens. You prepare yourself for it, right? So so Scott, those are thank you for giving us those three mistake and people usually make, and then the three bonuses. I think it's very
I didn't
helpful.
get to all the bonuses.
Oh, you just
I
I
was
thought you
only
had
one
eight.
bonus. You want the other two or no? I'm
Oh, I
behind.
thought those are the those are the three thorough method being impatient. I thought those are the three.
I
And
mean,
okay.
there are two more, but we can skip them.
No, 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 no. So we want to hear all the other two.
Uh, I recommend always to wait for a reply from Amazon after
Mm,
you've submitted some kind of response to them before you open another case. You only want one case for one issue at one time.
mm,
So I see a lot of people making mistakes by trying to address something where the case is open. But they get impatient. They're not hearing from Amazon. How long is this going to take? Blah blah blah. If you've responded to Amazon and you haven't heard anything back, it's appropriate to call account health, but don't keep replying to the same case that hasn't been responded to yet. So that's one thing. And the final thing is I recommend to uh, close ASINs, close listings, not
mm.
delete them, because sometimes in order to get an issue cleared from your account, you have to make some kind of a change to the listing, and you can't make a change to the listing if it's deleted. So
That is good.
that was the final.
Wow. Okay. So just the recap before we wrap it up, and help us to go through the three mistakes and three bonuses again, so we get a very clear pictures.
What do you mean?
Just to repeat the three mistakes that the most common mistake people make. So,
People contact seller support
mm,
or account health before doing their research and before uh, providing a valid or comprehensive response. And two, they jump to conclusions without doing the research and without uncovering the actual root cause.
mm.
And three, they don't put together a thorough, comprehensive plan of action.
Okay. Just another reminder. I think it's very clear to a viewer right now, and to prepare yourself for it, the three bonuses, right? The first one is you need to be patient and thorough. And so the second, the last two that you mentioned, is to remember the last one. It's to what is the last one again?
Uh, to close instead of delete.
I see.
And then
Yeah,
there is the wait for a case to be completed, wait to get a response from Amazon before trying to prompt them to address the issue by opening another case.
that's the exact same things that I did a few years back when I was trying to get reinstated. I was I was thinking Amazon do not have enough evidence. So I just keep pushing and keep submitting and thinking, oh, people say that the Amazon, every time you submit, somebody else will be looking at it. So you you keep submitting it. And every time you just add something to it, then it will get their attention. Somebody, hopefully the right one, will be able to respond, properly, right? So that means it show Amazon, I'm on top of it. I'm just all over these things. So that's my mentality. So, but what you're saying is that actually it's not a good idea. Thank you, everyone. So I think today's lesson and today's the bonuses will really help the viewer, especially if you never had the suspension before. Even though you had one, like I wish that you don't. But going through it makes me realize I need to always stay on top of my account health. That is the foundation of selling on Amazon, right? There's so many small things, so many different issues. If you look at under account health dashboard, you can see a list of the things that could go wrong. Depends on your business model, doing RA, OA, and I mean, it's just constantly changing, right? So stay on top of it, and that's the goal of the video series. And in addition to this one, we already did multiple. If you go to the YouTube channels that I have, which is under the Quick Finds extension, and then I have a playlist with all the video that we put together under sustaining, because that has to do with the sustaining part of the business. And Scott has the ecomsellertools.com. That's where you can find him. And also on the my website, quicklist.com, as well as my shoe sourcing online Facebook group. I will be posting the video. And if you have any question, you know where to find me and you know find Scott. And so before we wrap this up, Scott, do you have any last comment for our viewers?
Sometimes it's hard to find ecomsellertools.com if it doesn't get typed in right, but it's one M and an S at the end. So ECOM sellertools.com.
With an S after.
Ecomsellertools with an S.
Okay, great. So I think I hope today's video is helpful to you so you gain more understanding, and keep looking out for more videos from me and Scott. And until then, bye-bye.
Hey, thank you so much.